welcome everybody to a Minecraft musing of the new era. So, yeah, sorry, juggling all the different concepts and things that I wanted to talk about. I should really write these down. I don't know, maybe I'll do that in the future. But, so a few things. Told the FBI about my idea for an online voting system. And that if that sounds crazy, yeah, that does seem a little eccentric. However, it's just pretty easy to do on LinkedIn because I follow their FBI pages and I think it's CISA, CISA, the I don't know, government agency or something, but like basically in charge of like computer or cybersecurity or whatever. So basically our line of defense and our well, both in prevention and mitigation, but of just cyber vulnerabilities and cyber crimes. And it's important to know that the majority of cyber crimes, like, yeah, there's governmental things going on, and that's a concern, but it's important to know that a lot of it is also by people that, you know, might not always feel that way. Like, how to explain that? So there's hacktivists, there's people that are going through rough times and they see a shortcut that potentially there's no consequence for if it's online, you know, and it's anonymous. Like, you know, or just something like that. And basically a lot of evil in the world is accidental through poor communication. Like, and I feel like we're on the uptick end of things right now. Like, we're basically, it's an amazing time to be alive. It's also a very scary time to be alive. I was watching a video of Vladimir Putin talking about if there's evidence of NATO people directly, and I already thought it was pretty sketchy that we were sending all this money. Like, I agree, like, actually, I don't even know where I stand on the war. It's terrible. People are dying, but I feel like we should be able to come up with a different solution besides what's been discussed so far that I know of, and maybe there is. And I don't know. Politics isn't my thing, but back to the FBI thing. So they were trying to do a post, or they did a post about be careful about people spreading misinformation about hacked voting stuff, or like, you know, and that a lot of that information is publicly available anyway. And then that's like, you know, kind of a concern too, because people out there looking for shortcuts pretty much just need to find personally identifiable information so they can bypass controls on things like loan agencies and stuff like that. But everyone's cracking down. Like, I mean, again, we're on the uptick and we're fixing all this stuff. And it's no longer like patching a bunch of holes in a ship while it's sinking. It's more, I mean, it still is that to a point. Like, there still is some kind of like, you know, you're gonna miss some things. It's not perfect, but, you know, at least we're moving towards a more secure system, but also a scary system. Like, if anybody evil took over and like got in control, no, I'm just kidding. There's no such thing as an evil person, but if anybody with motives to the point where would want to abuse control over an entire earth, and I'm talking basically like anyone born wealthy. Like, it's not just Trump, but like anyone you got to be careful of. Ooh, look, a geode. I'm just talking about the people that are oblivious to, and not even oblivious in a negatory way or derogatory way, like it's their fault. Like, they're just oblivious by nature, like how they're raised, to the problems of the poor. That's why The Prince and the Pauper is such a popular story, because it talks about role reversal of wealthy and poor people and just getting that new perspective and just how much can be so fascinating by, you know, oh, look how the poor live. They're so free. They don't have to do these things that go to these galas and this and that. And, you know, again, misunderstood communications, because going to those galas or the political functions or whatever. Oh, whoops. I've been using, is that an iron? No, it's all stone. Okay. I don't even know what my goal is for this. I'm just like, oh, I just got to diamond. That's right. So let's go ahead and get these. So I'm playing two different worlds. I have another character that I play on the family's realm with, and that was what I was just doing. That's why I was thinking I was using an iron pickaxe just there. Like, this was iron, because then I had to see like, well, is that the same color and are these stone? Yeah. Sorry, just explaining what that all was, but. Anyways, yeah, we'll get some lapis too, because this is about to break. Well, we just. But anyways, And so the FBI has definitely seen my comments. And I basically laid out the explanation, or I started off by saying, I wonder if there was a way to make an online voting system, and, explained it, took up the full length of a LinkedIn comment. And then someone commented. So someone interacted with my curiosity, just throwing it out there, just to put this idea on people's radars. And the guy that responded talked about security concerns, like, that would be really easy to fraudulent vote. Well, not if you have secure control of your email, your phone, your multi-factor authentication device, what you're using to verify your identity, and to ensure a secure connection to where you and only you can vote. And here's the kicker, because he responded after that, like with those concerns, like people could fraudulent vote one way or the other, and it would be a nightmare. There's so many ways this could be hacked. And then here's the kicker, though, which was my follow-up response. I was like, yes, those are all valid concerns. Although here's the thing. We do a check and check again system. And it's a system so simple, yet so effective. And I'm still trying to poke holes in it, see if there's any, can this be the thing? Can this be a good thing? And I think it is. So the check and check again is where the polls close. And I've kind of already said this before in the other versions of the online voting idea, but the polls close, and then every person in every county, it's your civic duty as an American citizen or a citizen of any country. I'm trying to make this as like flavorless as possible to where it could be anyway, or sorry, like a one size fits all. It's not just American. It's, this could be Mexican, Costa Rican, Nicaraguan, Canadian, I'm not saying anyone else that has problems and needs to fix things, and actually, wait, we need to get that lapis before I forget. Um, I can give up some gravel. But that's our next step, isn't it? In fact, let's go start working on that. Now this, though, I do want to get this stuff, so we need to... Well, actually... Let's go back up, unload all our stuff, because I hate also throwing away stuff, because if I want to, now you can even use the stone working tool on the... Jeez, what's it called? The stone wheel. You can use it on tuft, and you can make tuft bricks too now, so that's even cool. And we're in the city texture pack, so of course we got some cooler stuff anyway. Not cooler, I like playing classic Minecraft, but I like switching this too. I did have some. Okay. So anyways, back to the online voting thing. So then I just counted back with the check and check again. So once the polls close, it becomes read-only. No more changes are allowed except for by system admins. And the system admins only have control if they get word from the voter to say, hey, my vote was changed. I need it changed. And there's an audit, an instant paper trail or digital trail of, okay, this request was sent from this email at this time from this IP address. If someone is doing fraud, they're busted right there. That's it. Even if you have max hops reached and it's anonymous, we still have enough nodes and checks on all of our networks at least to see how often a message has hopped and where it hopped from. And we have global cooperation with international servers as well. So again, and even though it doesn't matter. So we have a trace, and we at least have the voter say, oh, hey, my vote changed. Sorry to kind of sound Canadian there, but just a polite complaint, be like, hey, I need my vote changed. And you would submit it the same way. And I think that's the hiccup right now, is how do you submit your vote? Is it through an email from your email that's registered with that would make sense. Because your email is protected with multi-factor. You have your device. We could even make it a two-device thing. You have to find a neighbor or your local county phone and be registered with that too, just to have yes, this is the person. I don't know. That might be getting too far, but your phone yourself, and the MAC address and all these things, we're keeping better control on all that stuff. So it is secure that you and only you are trying to send this communication. Okay, so my vote changed. I need it changed back. Now, say that was fraudulent. Say someone called in saying, oh, I'm so-and-so. Say they hacked the credentials. And again, we're using unique UUIDs or user, yeah, I think that is unique user IDs or UUIDs. Basically, it's a hash, which is a value of numbers and letters that is unique, that is generated on input information. It's basically just using, well, to put it in a nutshell, you give a first name, a last name, a social security number, and an email, or even just first name, last name, and email, and there's your unique hash. And then add the year, you add, what season the election, I don't know. Not season, they're always in the same, but just trying to think of anything, any little piece makes it exponentially, vastly, enormously more unique with less possibility of two people having the same ID. And that just wouldn't happen. And you could easily check that too. So that's what we call a collision. If there's a collision in a hashing algorithm, then you just run a check, be like, are there any duplicates? No. Okay, good. Or if there are, hey, we got to salt this a little bit and add a little more uniqueness to this person's input information. Well, let's put in their height. Okay. I mean, nobody asks what's your height, like when you call in to make a loan or go, check medical information. And even that, like, would you care about medical information except for abortion, which that's clearly a, scary topic with how it's being banned in certain places. But I'm thinking more like insurance companies hacking into things and seeing if people have pre-existing conditions and not even hacking into databases, like following their Facebooks and stuff. Like, have they talked about having cancer before? Like that's a very real concern too. So, but again, we're on the upswing of things. We're starting to hold businesses accountable for that, but also not so punitive, because again, nobody's really evil. None of these people or corporations or entities are evil by desire or by knowledge. Anything is accidental or implied evil or wrongdoing. So, sorry, we kind of got a little prophetical there, but yeah. So and again, this is all on an FBI post on LinkedIn, and I'm just a junior sysadmin on that, and that's fine. I like that because that technically is my title, even though everybody calls me a regular sysadmin. But like, and again, doxing myself, like giving information, but people can search people's name, which I did find out. Well, the meaning of my name, it's pretty interesting. Helping people and Little King. So then thinking about that movie, Bullet Train. That's one of my favorite movies. It's psychotic because there's a lot of violence and killing in it. But as a guy with a high testosterone, trying to be not stereotypical, but let's be stereotypical for a bit. I freaking loved it, and it was great. It was like a Die Hard for this current generation. But in it, Brad Pitt goes through all of these like counseling and therapy spiels, and it's almost like Fight Club too. Like he hasn't come all that far, and Fight Club was easily one of my favorite movies back in the day. Oh man, it's such a trip, and it's profound and something worth thinking about. So I don't know, but back to the online voting. So say the check again system. Sorry, I can't catch up. Mm. So check again means that somebody requested a change because their vote was changed somehow. Don't even have to point any fingers. We have a digital log audit trail for all of this stuff, and it's easily audited. Like it's super easy. It takes milliseconds. I mean, I could write a script tomorrow, like to do these things. I wouldn't even have to though. I mean, there'd be so many tech people jumping at this, like, and that's why I've been kind of putting the word out because I know, and I also did this with Anonymous, the group of hacktivists that I generally agree with like their intent, but I don't agree with how they do it, and I'm not about to persecute them or try to bust them, but I like quietly support what they do, but I would rather eliminate the problems and a preventative approach to where these such extreme actions aren't necessary. Talking about people trying to get away with like, well, these are really broad strokes, but like generally the people they try to target are people that are abusing like their status, like for like predators, like rapists or even murderers, but more so. Well, when thinking anonymous, it's more so like, oh, this congressperson did something that if everybody knew would be very upset. Like I don't know, what was that, the Favre thing? And was it Brett Favre? I don't want to slander the wrong person for that, but somebody. Actually, I'm going to look it up real quick. It takes a quick Google search. But there was one pro NFL player that knew he was doing something sketchy. They had this text exchange, and it said that we're not going to get found out by this, right? This isn't going to be heard or anything. Like, if the general public, and that's why we have the Santa and God, like, theories, like, and the ideas, is because it's human nature to want to be able to provide that accountability no matter what, and a safe accountability. That's why it's got to be like a non-present, but hey, someone's paying attention to this. And we have that. We do have that with social media now. I mean, let's see, Favre stadium scandal. Brett Favre scandal explained. Ex-NFL QB accused of misusing Mississippi state funds. So right there, and I feel like Brett Favre is kind of more of a conservative leaning, and like, I don't know. I mean, and again, let's see. All right, is Favre conservative? Lately, the Republican Party has me seeing, hearing, and reading double. I get dizzy from all the double talk. Wait. Minnesota Vikings quarterback's wife donated 4,800 to Mississippi Democrat. See? Okay, right there. Wait. No, Favre's. Wait, what? Doesn't say the name. Minnesota Vikings quarterback and his wife, but that could be any. Mm, okay. No, Favre is the court. I mean, we'll just look at the thing. All right, that looks like his picture. Brett Favre. All right, there you go. So he donates to Democrats. See, right there. I had to fact check myself, and I was wrong. Now, no harm, no foul, except for it does cause a little harm because I just spread a little bias that I think Favre is conservative. And then also, as far as the scandal with the stadium, I believe it was for his daughter. Okay, well, actually, just go Google it yourself to get like a really good thing. No, no, that's a cop out. Let's just do it. So the stadium scandal explained. I get kind of why he did it. I think his daughter was supposed to go there. Let's see. Actually, let's just go back. Here it is. Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre is in hot water for his connection in the Mississippi welfare scandal involving the misappropriation of roughly 77 million in state funds. Favre, who has not been criminally charged, and this is as of August 10th, 2023, so it could be different, has denied knowing that the money he received for different projects was welfare money. Court filings, text messages, and tax records show the complexity of the situation. Favre is currently one of 47 defendants in a civil lawsuit over misspent welfare money. In the most recent development, his latest attempt at getting his name removed from that suit has failed. Here is some background and the timeline of the situation. And then, so background, the entire welfare scandal is Mississippi's largest ever public corruption case. It involves money from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, the TANF program, a federal program that provides grant funds to states and territories to help families in need. According to the benefits.gov website, state-administered programs may include child care assistance, job preparation, and work assistance. Like, imagine if 77 million was just, is that for him specifically? So involving, so that's the total it sounds like of state funds. But still, 77 million, that's a lot of free breakfast and lunch for kiddos. So anyways, state administered program. Okay. On September 22nd, 2022, former executive director of Mississippi Department of Human Services, John Davis, pleaded guilty for one count of conspiracy and one count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds. The Department of Justice said Davis worked for four unnamed co-conspirators. MDHS provided federal funds to two nonprofit organizations and then directed the two nonprofit organizations to fraudulently award contracts to various entities and individuals for social services that were never provided. Oh, so that's like mafia, or no, that is water money laundering, kind of like if you're getting extra money in and you're saying work is done, but work wasn't actually done, but you're taking the money for it. I don't know. Anyways, definitely fraud. Maybe it's not. Anyways, I mean, it's definitely fraud, but maybe not money laundering per se. Like, this might actually be whatever. So Davis was originally going to be sentenced February 2nd, 2023, but the U.S. Attorney's Office for Southern Mississippi requested a delay because sentencing in this case will be complex. So the two nonprofits with the Mississippi Communicating... I need to find, let's see, timeline, volleyball facility. Brett Favre, will the media find out that we're using welfare funds intended to help the poorest residents of America's poorest state to build a volleyball center? Then Nancy knew. Nah, oh yeah, the governor is fully on board. Okay, so here's the text message exchange. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? No, we never have that information publicized. I understand you being uneasy about that, though. Let's see what happens on Monday with the conversation with some of the folks at Southern. Maybe it will click with them, hopefully. Okay, thanks. Wow, just got off the phone with Phil Bryant. He's on board with us. We will get this done. Awesome, I needed to hear that for sure. All right, so it's not so much like, is it... Yeah, he does say, like... Let's see. So according an audit, Favre was paid $500,000 in December 2017 and $600,000 in June 2018 for appearances and speeches at multiple events that he did not attend. Favre said he filmed commercials for the nonprofit organization, and that's why he was given the money. The auditor later revealed that Favre's contract stated that he needed to give speeches and a radio advertisement. So, okay, so that's more of just like a breach of contract type thing. Favre is also tied to a pharmaceutical company that has been named in the Mississippi scandal. Mississippi Today reported that Favre briefed Bryant on Provocus, a company in which Favre was a top investor in. Per report, the company received 2.15 million from the scheme. Some text messages from 2018 obtained by Mississippi Today showed that Provocus founder Jake Van Dalen and Favre offered Bryant shares of the company. While White ended up naming Bryant as the whistleblower that led to high-profile arrests in the welfare scandal, the drug company, now called Odyssey Health, was said to be developing a nasal spray designed to treat concussions. Six-time U.S. Soccer Athlete of the Year Abby Wambach was a member of the sport advisory board, but as of September 29, 2022, she cut ties with the company per ESPN. Okay, so it is very complex, this whole thing. All right, so the 2019 indoor football facility. Oh my gosh, actually, this just goes on and on. Where's Favre's part? There's Deion Sanders. Wait, was it Deion? To help recruit his quarterback, Shoder Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, by luring him with an indoor football facility. Uh, well, either way, all of this, like, if these are funds that are supposed to help people, like, the poorest of the poor, that's not college students. I mean, yeah, it is still to a point, but there's even a level below that. Like, sorry. Okay, so the majority of the money has been misspent, but that's what they determined. Sorry. So 2020, after an 8-month-long investigation, a 104-page audit showed that the Mississippi Department of Human Services had sent 98 million in federal welfare funds to two nonprofits over the span of 3 years, and that the majority of that money has been misspent. Two separate payments totaling 1.1 million were given to Favre Enterprises as payment for three speaking engagements, one radio appearance, and one keynote address that Favre was scheduled to make. According to the audit, Favre did not attend any of those events but still received the money. So tax record it's obtained by ESPN. So that's kind of messed up right there. Like if you're going to get 1.1 million, you do what the contract says. I can be upset about that, but like I'm glad I read that because, you know, it gets scary in the beginning. 77 million. Oh my gosh, Brett Favre robbed 77 million from someone. And that's why it's not communication. See, it goes from heavily escalated serious situation down to it's still pretty messed up. Go do the shows and or not shows, the speeches. And you could go back in hindsight. I'd feel like his punishment should be go do your job. Like I'm sorry, right? Like go speak at the schools. I don't know, but so this doesn't sound as sketchy. Like I thought it was more to like build a, and that was the indoor football stadium with the Sanders, Deion Sanders' son thing. And still, even that's like family trying to help out family and like an investment in higher education is an investment in the community. So it could still be justified that these things, but as long as there's access for, and we're working on that too as a society, mm, the Pell Grant. Like the Pell Grant needs to be expanded because it doesn't cover nearly what it used to. As the cost of education continues to rise astronomically, you know, we're fixing it. We were also getting to a point where higher education won't be completely necessary. Like you'll be able to do free certifications and qualifications and meet these benchmarks with free services very easily. I mean, let's drop off some of this stuff. Oh, we got to cook some gold or smelt and diamonds. Oh, yeah, I guess I already do have the diamonds. I need to start. Oh, but anyways, back to the FBI thing. I know we just did a way circle around, but I mean, so the FBI thing, we answered those questions. The checking again, in its. So you check the first time, we have record of that, and you could even do a second layer of check again. So if you really want like extra assurance that there's no foul play, and at this point it's just overkill because we already know anyone who's involved in that transaction, and if there's any meddling, then we have proof. Like you can point at it on a piece of paper when you print out the logs, and be like, there you go. Actually keep it in log form. You can email it to everyone, but you can't fake those. The only thing you can fake with logs is you can delete them. because the logs are created as actions happen. Same with hops on a network. There's no fake. I mean, there is some fake into that, but even the faking can be found out anymore. Yeah, it's extremely safe if done right. Now you'd still have to have a team of system admins that would be willing to well, not willing to. That'd be their job. You'd pay them, and they'd have to, sign an oath, a pledge, whatever, and be like punishable if they were to mess with anything. But again, audit logs, like everything that each sysadmin does when they're logged into a very secure server. And mind you, I left social security number out earlier because even if we did have to use that, it would only be used on the back end to produce the hash or to actually just to verify an email address. And then moving forward, whoever controls that email address controls that person's vote. But again, if the vote's wrong, and as long as every American that voted does their duty and checks within this grace period and reports that, hey, wait a minute, my vote is not accurate, and we're only looking at that giant long voter ID that can be generated new every time that's displayed on the website. They look at the website and they're like, wait a minute, and they have to do the control copy in their email where they got that ID, which is protected. Like nobody else should be able to access that. And that's why I love Google, because they make it so easy to see which device is logged in with your account or which account. And I have like 50 Google accounts, and like, I got, my kids have 50 Google accounts. Like, just because I love experimenting with this stuff and I love seeing like what's going on, who's trying to do what, and all this. And, like, it hasn't been all that exciting. I'm not some like super hacker or whatever. I'm just a kid that had too much time growing up on his hands and had access to the internets and computers and stuff. So, I mean, I guess that's in a nutshell every hacker, but I never took it to the point of like trying to crack people's passwords or impersonate people or install malware. Like I never did any of that stuff because that was a lot of effort for, and plus I didn't know how. Like let's just be frank, I only recently learned computer science as of like within this decade. So actually it was, let's see, it was back in like 2000. I did the Van Wilder approach and I took the better part of a decade to graduate. But I took a lot of really cool classes and multiple times. So, all right, we're going to try to do some enchantment. We need to get, oh, that's what we need. We need some wood. There we go. Planks and books and, yeah, there's no way around it. We need a bunch of wheat and we need to go get some leather. So then the check again system, that eliminates anything fraudulent. Like, even if your vote was hacked, like if they were like stole your credentials and could vote on your behalf, all you got to do is make a phone call. And then how to prevent the false positives? The check again. So then everybody watches it and be like, wait, somebody false reported that mine was fraudulent and made it fraudulent. Then you call in and say, hey, actually that wasn't a thing. So then right there, anybody, so the first half catches the first half of the first 50% of everything that can go wrong with this system. And then the second half catches the second half. And we could even do a third, like a rock, paper, scissors. But by that time, enough data is gathered from the connection and the passkey or whatever we want to tie with this. And for those that don't know, a passkey is a combination of your device, your MAC address, and like certain pieces of information about your device that just cannot be faked. We can track where every single device is sold. Like we could say what store. So that's another unique identifier, and we don't have Best Buy in China or Russia or, although wait, and actually I did want to make that point too, like before I forget, because that is very scary to think that we're going to get into kind of war. Oh wait, I need a cow. Let's go find a cow, man. But no, same thing with the Brett Favre thing. Like, see how I walked that back? Because everybody, when they hear that story that Brett Favre was part of a scandal, instantly, and myself included, I was like, oh, screw that guy. Like, he just like robbed 77 million from like starving children. Okay, but the money could have been better spent feeding the kids. And actually, why does that money have to come from? Why should Brett Favre pay 7 million? Like if he just made 1.1 million, he could turn around and give that to. And again, actually, I'd have to reread the article because now I can't remember if Brett Favre was even involved with. Like it sounds like he just didn't show to a couple of his contractual obligations and received the money. But if that money came from, because it was misspent funds and he was a part of misspent funds, if it came from a charity that he was, that's like, I mean, not quite the level of a Make-A-Wish and bailing on it, but if you bailed on a charity event, Okay, okay. Well, that, but still made a commercial. I don't know. And then that could even be argued like, in the times of COVID and even in the midst of COVID, like in-person things. I don't know. There's so many unknowns. That's the alarm. All right, but same thing with China and Russia and the developing and BRICS and like how what they're doing. I mean, it's scary because that's basically the Axis and allies if World War III were to play out. But what like China specifically, what they're doing with Africa, I've seen people argue about that where it's like, they're basically robbing them of their minerals and their land and their precious things. No, they're paying their workers to go do a job and help bring this country closer to the rest of the world. Like that's the whole point of like trying to help out another country, make them self-sufficient and make them from a third world to a first world nation, boost their economy, and they got to pay the tab for that. I get that. Like now, if it's embezzlement or if it's decided that that's like if they're overcharging, money laundering, or anything like that, would actually seem sketchy. But it would have to seem sketchy because again, just at face value, Brett Favre robbed 77 million from starving children is not. That's what people think. That's what I thought at first. I'm like, oh, that guy, that horrible guy. Like China's the same thing. Russia's the same thing. Like I don't know. But that's a whole nother episode. We could get into that. For now, I'm gonna go see if my buddy's on and go join the lands between and do some Elden Ring. So, ta for now. Oh wait, actually, real quick, we'll make this a little longer. So the point with the FBI thing is, I also said in there this could make a fourth branch of government called the People's Choice if we can move everyone that's an American citizen to this digital system of being able to verify a vote or an opinion that they hold. That it could be for every law, for every election, for every decision, for everything. Like if the will of the people says no, I don't want this to happen, like, and see how fast things change, because the people that have the ear of the government are the lobbyists that can afford to do so. But with the validity, and this would only be a fourth branch of government, it wouldn't overtake the government. But I put in there and I worded it like this would add democracy to our democracy with a fourth branch of government of the will of the people directly. Like, because that's our biggest thing. America is all about the power of the people. The Constitution is about the power of the people. Like, for the people, by the people, of the people. And so far, it's for the elite, of the elite, but to the people. Like, they get on the business end. So it's exciting. I got to slow my roll a little bit because if it does come off too fast, too quick, and we can't ever make it violent, we can't ever make it scary or like where they would regret changing policy or changing the ways of the world, because it's vindictive first of all, and it's not useful, but it's also wrong. Like we have to do all of this in good faith. Like we can't do any major changes. I'm talking new world order, like global government. China, Russia, America have almost the same amount of government, and then people will stop. Like people will stop. No more wars, no more fighting, no more bickering, no more anger, no more miscommunication, peace, no dying. So yeah. Anyways, I just want to make sure I got that in this episode because I'm going to brand this as such, and we'll talk about the Happy House Nature Farms in one of the upcoming ones. But happy Sunday, everybody. Blessed be the Lord if he or she exists. But you know what? Do good by you and do good by others. And if there is, in the off chance there's a God, make them proud. Okay, that's it. Don't don't have to, because and actually tech is your God now. I'm just kidding. That's scary. But anyways, ta ta. I'll see you in the next one.